The definition of a thermometer is an instrument used to take temperature of someone or something. In our modern day, we usually use a thermometer to check the temperature of our food to make sure that it's eaten so we don't get sick. And we also use a thermometer to make sure that our loved ones are within an optimal temperature if they're not feeling too well. And if they aren't, we can send them to the hospital. But how do we know who's an optimal temperature and what is an optimal temperature? And how do we know how to work with a thermometer? And people say that if I don't take care of my thermometer, will it just using the thermometer get my loved ones sick? That is true. See, I first want to talk to you about how to use a thermometer. Then I want to talk to you about how a thermometer works. Then I would like to speak on the topic of how to make sure that using a thermometer won't get your loved one sick and how we can keep it clean and how we can keep that loved one healthy while using a thermometer. According to Clark S., in the use of thermometers in general practice from the NCBI, she goes over how to use a thermometer. She says to use a more accurate thermometer. In my opinion, an accurate thermometer would be a digital thermometer. And I chose to use a digital thermometer because the infrared one isn't very accurate because it takes a second for the beam to actually touch your body. And it isn't physically actually touching your body. It's just relaying a message back of what the infrared captured at that moment. It isn't adjusting with you like a digital thermometer does. Also, a mercury thermometer isn't as accurate either. The mercury needs to get excited at a certain degree in order for it to escalate upwards in order to take your so-called temperature. See, what I see a problem about that is it needs to excite the mercury so it can move. So it's using a certain degree to get that mercury to move. So it isn't actually giving you an accurate reading. It's only giving you about a few degrees less, of course, but still isn't as accurate as a digital thermometer. Now, how to use the thermometer? See, according to Clark in the use of thermometer in general practice from NCBI, to use one, you need to first open it from the case like we did, of course. Then you need to sanitize it, of course. Now that it is sanitized, we want to make sure that we put a strip on it, a thermometer tip cover strip to be exact. First, you want to pull the back off. You want to grab the clear paper on the back, pull that off as well. And you want to push the paper through, so therefore this piece falls off. Now you would want to turn on the thermometer, adjust it to whatever you want, the Fahrenheit setting or the Celsius setting. It always varies on you. Then when I turn it turns on green, but then it goes red to show you that there's two settings that you should be looking out for. In yellow, you should just watch them, but mostly you should just be looking for green or red. Now, as you take your temperature, you turn it on, correct? You stick it in your mouth, like so, and you wait 8 seconds. So I'm at 97.7, so that's normal, but it isn't at 98, that's where it's considered optimal, but I'm considered healthy. That's 97. Now, second of all, since we've already discussed how to take a temperature, we want to discuss how it works. According to How Do I Take a Temperature and How Does a Thermometer Work by NHSUU, discusses on how a digital thermometer works. This is called a microbe. This micropiece transmit a current into the digital display, therefore presenting your temperature. What I like about this is that this microbe doesn't actually have a set timing on it. Yes, the 8 seconds is as preferred to look at, so the digital display finally gives you your reading, but this will change. This will go up and down. The current will continue traveling until it gets the result that is needed for you. And that's what I find neat about these thermometers. Third, we will be talking about how to properly sanitize our thermometers. According to Cleveland Clinic, how do we take care of our thermometer? First, they say, grab your thermometer and just wipe it down. Wipe it down. Actually, wipe it down. And make sure that there is no marks, no anything on it that we consider dirty, so we can keep our family and loved ones safe. Then, we want to put this back in the case and put it away. So now that we have discussed our three main components, I want to summarize. I taught you how to use a thermometer, how it works, and how to keep it and make sure and maintain its cleanliness. And I really hope this helped you. And I really hope you learned how to keep your loved ones and your family members safe. And thank you for listening to what I had to say. I had a fun time teaching you how to use this, and of course, it's important to know and important to keep your knowledge to make sure that you can use this safely and effectively. Thank you.